The House, it is Robert Johnson III, Mississippi House of Representatives, Minority Leader, District 94. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
Traffic heavy out there?
It's heavy, but it was more mean than traffic, so.
Well, at least you fessed up to it.
Yeah.
So you just took you got a GPS there? Did you need a GPS?
But I was glad. I got to hear the devil is a woman. That was just great.
What? Do you know anything about those guys?
Nah. I mean,
there was a tremendous. They had some great and very talented.
What's the name of the group?
Bishop Gunn, Gunn, has nothing to do with Philip.
Yeah, no. I've heard of them, but I don't know much about them. Yeah.
And then they broke up. I think there was a lot of this animosity or whatever. But they looked like they were just about ready to break out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talent, but the devil is a woman.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
COVID-free?
COVID-free.
Things getting back to normal and in and around Natchez?
It's we're gradually getting there. We are people town, so we need things moving. So it's getting there.
Would you say that the city is? It's probably got more good press in the last year, as far as some of the things that are going on and some of the things happening in the downtown area, which is good news.
You mean Natchez?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean it's when COVID hit, it hurt our tourism market pretty bad. But what it did is it incentivized the whole city to come together to amp up the promotion of the city, and everybody sort of joined together and make that happen. So it's been great. Yeah.
Mayor's doing a pretty good job.
The mayor's doing a good job. Yes. Yes. I mean he's.
Is anybody taking advantage of the? I'll come work.
I don't know. I mean it was press for a minute. It at least brought some attention.
Well, it did bring some attention there. And that's the thing that a lot of people are trying to get, at least some publicity. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I have a problem with this as far as paying money to do things like that.
Oh no! I mean,
this is different as far as coming and get a job.
Yeah.
But we're using this now. It's almost like little Johnny. If you'll go brush your teeth, I'm going to do this. If you'll make up your bed, I'm going to do this. And it's just gotten Senator Langford. And we'll get on the state stuff in a moment or two, but we got a bumper that hits in a second. I don't want to get into it, but I want you to hear this.
For the first 20,000 people that'll actually get off of unemployment benefits and go back to work, we are paying a $1,200 bonus to those individuals to return to work. What in the world? Why would we have to do this as a state? Why would we want to have a situation where we've literally disincentivized work and encourage people to not return to work?
This is Senator Langford in Oklahoma, and I mean, he's talking about his own Republican governor there. It's gotten to the point where if you go get the shot, we're going to give you this. If you do that. Now, if somebody wants to do it in the private sector, that's great. But we're paying government money now for some people who haven't taken the shot to go get the shot.
Well, private business, I mean, people being healthy, people working, keeps the state economy going. And, the pandemic was rushed upon us. We didn't see it coming. Everybody's searching for solutions to get through it and make it happen. And if it's a short-term solution to incentivize people to go back to work, but this is the thing people are ignoring. You would not have to do. Nobody would have to pay you to come back to work. They don't have to pay me to come back to work. I've been blessed enough to be in an occupation where I figured out a way to make enough money, but. What it pulls the cover off is that people are not getting paid a living wage or paid in a way that they can take care of themselves. You're talking about in Oklahoma
so
putting
you
people
decide
back to work.
Don't come to work because of this?
No, you don't come to work. It's an eye opener. You look up and say,
the people who are working, we're paying them to stay at home.
No, you're not paying them to stay.
Aren't you a little upset about that?
No, you're not paying them to stay at home.
Where the hell are they getting the money from?
There's
no tree out there.
Somebody sitting in an office who is not there working every day said, this is what it'll take for you to live.
Take a couple
and
of
somebody said,
we got a break.
Wow, this is what it costs for me to live? Why wouldn't they pay me that all the time?
In the studio, it is Robert L. Johnson, and we were talking about a sundry of different things. Let's talk about the initiative.
Before we talk about the initiative, I heard you talking about Kim Jong-un. I don't agree with anything that they do.
Thank goodness.
But banning the mullet, skinny jeans, and T-shirts with slogans, he may be on to something right there. I'm with all.
As far as I'm concerned,
you and I don't have a mullet problem.
No, we don't have a mullet problem, and I'm not really close to nose rings. So if you want to throw that in, I'm okay.
Hey, look, I'm good.
Let's talk about the medical marijuana first of all. Here's what I don't understand. I really don't. The consumer use of medical marijuana is probably more so in Caucasian Americans and African Americans.
I don't know, Paul. I mean, all I know in this state, people love, and all over the country, people love recreational weed. Yeah. And I hear people on both sides talking about how medicinal marijuana is and how much good it can do. I don't know. And there's a whole industry on CBD oil and all these other things. All I know is that my incentive about medical marijuana is to lead us to a point that, just like a lot of other things, that we decriminalize marijuana and we reduce the population in prison where we're locking up all these people. But I haven't looked at the science enough to know. I just know that there are doctors and there are people out there who I know who say this would really help me. And I don't know the science behind it, whether or not it's true or not.
In talking to numerous doctors and reading a lot of stuff, there's never been a medical report.
I agree. I hadn't seen
consensus.
I'm pretty
says that it would be that helpful. There's some ailments like schizophrenia that they have that are promising. The FDA hasn't done any study on it. And then we're talking about open the flood doors from Natchez to everywhere else in the state. Hang on, let me finish this.
Okay, statement. Go ahead.
And then putting $1 billion in sales within 4 to 5 years on the streets of Mississippi.
You know the other thing it does? It creates jobs. It creates money into the economy.
Well, then let's do cocaine.
Well, no, let's not do cocaine. What I'm saying is there a third of the states in the country have legalized marijuana, some number like that. It is happening. It's going to happen.
And you go back and you look at some of these states, and some of these people are saying, I wish we wouldn't have done it.
Look, do they say the same thing about alcohol? I'm sure somebody says about alcohol. I mean, they say the same thing about alcohol. Look, there are counties that just stopped being dry, but they're not dry anymore. But why? What was the point in taking 80 years to do that?
You think we'll be better off with marijuana, $1 billion worth of sales?
I think you'd be better off with marijuana being regulated than just out on the market and just doing its own thing.
Medical marijuana or recreational marijuana?
Both.
So you'd like to see recreational?
I'd like to see marijuana decriminalized.
And you'd like to see it mandatory as far as because the Initiative 65 said that you can't stop it anywhere in Natchez. If Natchez decided to opt out, they couldn't.
Look, that initiative could have, the only good thing about what the Supreme Court did is that it gives us an opportunity to tweak it and do some things to it.
By and large, you'll find a tremendous amount of more support in the Democrat Party than the Republican Party, even in Mississippi.
For what?
As for marijuana.
There was a Republican who paid for the initiative.
That's not what I'm saying, but right now, when you talk about it.
I don't know that. I know that 60% of the people, 73% of the people in the state of Mississippi, which has to be a large number of Republicans.
I thought it was 76.
Well, 76. I mean, that's more Republicans that voted for Tate Reeves.
When you
voted for medical marijuana.
When you hear somebody like me say it actually wasn't. Actually, it was 58 to 60% of the people who voted. 58% is what I've seen more than any other thing. 58% of the people voted for Initiative 65.
Yeah.
When you put 65 and 65A together, then you can get up in that 70%.
Okay, 58%. Yeah, if it was Democrats who made that happen, that means I could get elected governor. That's not true. That means it had to be Republicans passing that.
You don't know how they voted on 65A as a stopgap or what?
I think the Republicans passed 65A. 58%. If you got 58% of the votes in Mississippi, that means that you got majority
you
Republicans.
You did have a majority. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
every
that
Republicans.
Stop using 76% of the people.
I saw Republicans like getting high. That's okay. Don't put it on Democrats.
Well, it's kind of like Baptists. You do it in the closet.
Yeah, that's fine.
As far as alcohol,
right, that's right. They tell their legislators, we don't want marijuana, but when they put it in, they're going to go in a booth and they can probably vote for it. They vote for marijuana. So
you are all in to vote for a bill that comes out.
In fact, I'm introducing a bill to mirror. I would like to introduce a bill to mirror the initiative process with some tweaking about some of the things we talked about.
Well,
I would like for municipalities to be able to say when and where or how they want it to be so and where it could be. And it doesn't have to be in the Constitution.
Well, good.
No, it doesn't. You don't need it in the Constitution. You just need it in the law. That's all.
You couldn't put it in the Constitution anyway, could you?
No, I couldn't. I mean, that would be you asked me what the differences would be.
Well, the second thing on there was one of the reasons I was against it is it does not divert the money to the general fund.
No, that's okay. I mean, we screw it up anyway. I mean, I don't want to go to the general fund. In fact,
where would you put it?
I'd find a place to put it, the typical places. I'd probably first go to transportation and then take some of it and go to education. But I'd definitely take it and put it on some bridges.
Well, you can still do that through the appropriation process.
Nah. I don't want anybody calling balls and strikes on it every year. I'd like to say this is where it's going to go. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the personal income tax. Your thoughts? First of all, you would vote for that. You are going to issue a bill, author a bill
on personal income tax.
No, medical marijuana.
Oh, medical. Yeah. I'd like to do in the legislature what we should have done, and that we had to result to the initiative process. And on the personal income tax, I mean the plan that Philip Gunn and the leadership offered early, I agreed with, basically because it was a wash. It balanced. It took money. People who were getting breaks. Industries and manufacturers who were getting breaks on taxes had to share some of the responsibility. You took, you reduced the grocery tax on. I mean, it was a good balance. If we change it much, there are going to be some problems. I just think it needs to be a wash, and I think there are people who are rich enough that ought to take on some of the burden.
It's almost like the scales of justice. When you take from one, it's going to make it unleveled. In other words, if you tweak it, letting the farmers, letting you not pay for combine taxes, you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It goes down on the other side.
There are people that we didn't, that we allowed to keep some of their tax breaks that they were getting. And some of those people may have to take on a burden, and some people we didn't take as much from may have to take on more, and maybe less on farmers. Yeah. I mean, it could take some tweaking, but you got to balance it out.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that I'm a little worried about it, because if it's going to take some tweaking, it would seem to me that you need the House, the Senate, and the governor's office to be working together.
But we do it all the time, Paul. It was enough time in the legislature to do that without people saying, I need time to look at it. Yeah, I mean, we do need time to look at it.
The Senate hadn't had a chance to look at it.
I know, and people in the House hadn't had a chance to look at it, which was a big complaint. There were people who went along with the leadership, and they did it, with some caution. But, yeah, you don't give a person a 300-page bill a day before you ask them to vote on it.
Well, then were you completely satisfied with everything you saw?
I got a chance to read it. I mean, I wouldn't have supported it if I hadn't understood it and read it. I wouldn't have done it. I did. That's what I did. And so, but there were people who didn't have an opportunity to do that. And there were people who need more time. I didn't. But that's why the legislative process is one that you should take time to do that. The only thing I didn't agree with the chairman of Ways and Means, he said, I've been working on this for 5 years. Well, you've been working on it for 5 years. Share some of that work with people. Yeah. Let them know what's going on, and you would solve a whole lot of problems that way.
Sounds like you're having constraint angst on this too. You agree with the Senate.
No, I'm free. I'm a free man. Look, I'm a free man. I've been in the legislature over 20.
You agree with the Senate?
No, I didn't say I agree with the Senate. I said that there are people who probably needed more time. I told you I'm fine with it. The way the chairman of Ways and Means, the leadership put it together, I thought it was a good bill.
Robert Johnson's my guest. Robert, you have what are you getting on the streets when people talk to you if that subject comes up? Do you have more people who are saying this is a good idea?
The income tax deal?
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, it's still sort of it's about 50-50. People don't trust it. They're concerned about the tax shift. Especially people who are concerned about programs like education and those kind of things. It's hard to believe that you're going to have an income tax, which is our biggest part of our tax system, and that it won't hurt somebody.
It's one of those things that is a good idea when you put it on paper, but it's very difficult to talk to the average voter. And so you got to
Governor Barber had a commission that studied this for a whole year. You don't do it in a 2-day session. So
final topic on that coming up next with Robert Johnson right after this.
Look, one more thing on the income. I live on the river.
Yeah.
Farmers on the river. People who farm in Natchez, they buy their combines in Louisiana and don't pay taxes on them. I say, so this whole idea that farmers, you're going to raise the taxes on farmers, if they want to buy a $18,000 combine, they don't have to buy it in Mississippi.
Where
they
you get an $18,000 combine?
I don't know. What is it, $180,000 combine? Yeah. No, the tax on it would be $18,000. Yeah.
I was going to say,
right. You can find one broke. Yeah.
You find $18,000. That's driven by two mules.
I was wrong. I mean, the complaint was, I have to pay $18,000 on taxes on buying a combine.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get
but
back
to they do it anyway.
The only thing is that I'm told over and over that most farmers now lease their vehicles.
They do. Combines. They lease them, and there's so many programs. Most farmers are not farming, so
all right, let's talk about medical marijuana. We got only a couple of seconds here, so I'm sorry. Medicaid expansion.
Look, Paul. Look, I keep saying this, and again, I'm gonna preface it by saying I'm free. I'm telling you this because I don't have a dog in the hunt on medical marijuana, except there are 220,000 working people who don't have health care coverage. And I know that they are better people, better workers, can take better care of their families if they're healthy. And you got hospitals. I was born in a town that had 2 hospitals when I was a child. Now we're in danger of not having one. Only because we don't have the revenue that you need coming in to pay for those hospitals. And it's simple. This whole idea that, we don't know what Medicaid will cost. Yes, the insurance commissioner told you in the 9 to 10 years that they've had the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid expansion, this whole idea, we don't know if the federal government is going to keep paying for it. They have not paid for it in all that time. 90%. If we believe that this match that you're getting is a bad thing. In fact, it's 80% now. If you expanded it, it would be 92%. It would reduce your overall Medicaid match. And this is according to the insurance commissioner. And every economist, the Kaiser Foundation, everybody says it could be a $1.45 billion boost to your economy, another 2,200 healthcare jobs, and you would have hospitals and healthcare professionals working in every rural county in the state. It just makes sense.
How 92 cents on every dollar?
92 cents on every dollar.
And that's locked in for how long?
It's locked in forever.
Really?
Everything you see or read or you're told, everything you look at tells you that it's 80% now. If you expand it to 138% of poverty, it would be 92%.
One of the other things that I always mention on here, and by the way, I don't think it's locked in forever.
No, it's locked in.
It's a day-to-day.
Stop saying it. Stop saying it. I heard the governor said it. We don't know. Why do you keep creating a problem when there's no problem? When it was 80%, when has it not been 80%?
I wish it was.
Look, it is. It's always been locked in.
I can say it as a talk show host.
I can say it as an elected official because in the 30 years I've been in the legislature, Medicaid is not. Federal government has not matched Medicaid. They have not reduced it. It has only gone up the whole time I've been there. Their match is on. And look, Mississippi, we're the poorest state, the lowest medium. I say it every time I come on here. 50% of our education money comes from the federal government. 60 to 70% of our transportation money, and 85% of our health care money comes from the federal government.
So you, as an attorney, advising a client, you would say, I'd go on and sign this document, but
Man, take the $1 million a day and the $1 million a day incentive.
So you're, as an attorney, you would advise your client that you're representing to do this on not even a promise or a contract. But
no,
they haven't done it before, so they're going to do it.
As an attorney, I'd say, let me tell you what the federal law says. So you tell me to take this? Yes, because you got 92% coming to you, and there's nothing in this law that says it's going to stop.
Fiscal responsibility.
Fiscal responsibility. Our state budget is $4.5 billion a year. Medicaid is $6 billion. Fiscal responsibility.
Is there some room for this narrative or this discussion?
Half the doctors work for hospitals now.
I understand that.
Go ahead.
Is there some room for this that we're not using that money in the right way? And the reason I say that is because we've been carrying over 700,000 people in the state with insurance for a while now, as far as Medicaid, as you just alluded to. And you go back and you look at that and you say, what is the progress of these people moving off and becoming healthier? Because that was one of the reasons we did this. And we're seeing now that if we put these other people on here, it's a pathway to being healthier and getting them off, but we never do that.
It's a system, Paul. I mean, we live in a state where we won't raise the minimum wage, we won't pay people a living wage. You pay people a living wage, you give them health care coverage, they can buy healthier food, they can take better care of themselves. It's generational. Then they turn around, their kids do better. Everybody does better. But when you maintain the status quo, you can't do better. We're responsible for maintaining the status quo. Those people are not responsible for maintaining the status quo. Leadership needs to be progressive, move forward, and figure out a way to help people do better.
You always hit a home run.
That's our job.
You always hit a home run. Do me a favor.
Man.
When you see Darius Rucker, tell him I said hi.
I will. He likes to play golf, so I'm probably seeing him somewhere. Yeah.
Always a pleasure.